Hello, today we will talk about debugging. All modern browsers and most other environments support debugging, a special user interface that makes finding and fixing error much easier. And I decided that we will be using Chrome here because it is probably the most future-rich in this aspect. Today we will fix error in 7 steps. The first step, called reproduce the bug. Finding a series of actions that consistently reproduce a bug is the first step to debugging. Okay, you can click demo and repeat all of actions which are described in this presentation with this presentation. You should enter number 5 to number 1 text box and enter number 1 to number 2 text box and click to the button. As you can see, the result is 51, but the result should be 6. Okay, it is a bug and we are going to fix. Now go to the next step. Next step, called Get Familiar with the Source Panel User Interface. DevTool provides a lot of different tools for different tasks, such as changing CSS, page load performance, monitoring network request. As you can understood, DevTools is a way you debug JavaScript. Okay, you can open DevTools by pressing Command plus Option plus I if you use Mac, and Control plus Shift plus I if you use Windows or Linux. This shortcut opens the console panel. Okay, then we will go to Source tab, and as you can see, the Source tab, and as you can see, the Source panel has 3 parts. The first part called File Navigator. In this panel, you can look all files that the page requests. The second part called Code Editor pane. When you selected file from File Navigator, it will display it here. And the third part of Source panel is JavaScript debugging. This panel have different tools for inspecting JavaScript pages. And let's go to the third step, which called pause the code with breakpoint. A common method for debugging is to insert a lot of console log statements into the code. Of course, console log method may get job done, but breakpoints can get it done faster. A breakpoint lets pause the code in the middle of its execution and examine all values at the moment in time. A breakpoint have a few advantages over than console log method. If you're using console log method, you need to manually open source panel, find a relevant code, insert console log statements, and reload page in order to see message in console. With breakpoint, you can pause the code without knowing how the code is structured. And second advantage is if you using console log statements, you need write each value which you want to inspect, but with a breakpoint you can pause the code and see all values of all variables at that time, at the moment in time. So as you know, a breakpoint work faster than console log method. If we think about our error, we will come to conclusion that encoded sum gets computed in the click event listener, which which is stated with button. So let's pause a code around click event. Um, we can expand section event listener breakpoints. Then we can choose mouse, and in opened section you can choose click. Okay, now code is automatically paused in the any click event. And now when we will back to the demo and click to the button, our code will paused on the line of code which called one click. If you paused on different line of code, you can press resume script execution and click to this button until you are paused on right line of code. Okay, go to the next step, which called step through the code. A common cause of bugs is when a script executes in the wrong order. And DevTools give us possibility to step in through the code. Try it now. On source panel you can click to step into next function call to step in through execution of one click function. DevTool highlights the following line of code, and then you can click step over next function call to execute inputs are empty without stepping into it. So that's the basic idea of stepping through the code. And if you look to the code, you understand that the bug is probably somewhere in update label function. Okay, now go to the next step, which called set a line of code breakpoint. A line of code breakpoint is a common type of breakpoints, of DevTools breakpoints. When you have got a line of code which you want to pause on, use a line of code breakpoint. Look to the function update label and you see the last lines of this function, and to the left of its lines you can see a number of lines. You can click to the number of these lines, which is 32, and as you can see, DevTools puts blue icon to this number, and this means that there is a line of code breakpoints on this line. Then we can click resume script execution, and the script continue execution until it research 32 line. And we will see values of addend1, addend2 and sum to the right of each line semicolons. Okay, go to the next step, which called check variables values. As you can see, values addend1, addend2 and sum are wrapped in quotes, which means that they are strings. Most likely it is explaining of the cause of bug. Now it is time to gather more information. DevTool provides a lot of tools for examining values of variable. Try it now. We have three methods of examining variable. The first method called the scope pane. When you are paused on a line of code, the scope pane shows you local and global variable which are currently definite. It also shows you closure variable. When you are not pause line of code, the scope pane is empty. Okay, go to the second method, which called watch expressions. The watch expressions tab lets you monitor values of variable. You can store any valid JavaScript expression in watch expression. Try it now. You can click to watch expression and choose type of sum. As you can see, type of sum is string when it should be a number. And the third method, which called the console. You can use the console to test out potential fix for bugs. Try it now. In the console, type parseInt addend1 plus type plus parseInt addend2. This statement works because you are paused on a line of code where addend1 and addend2 are in a scope. Then press enter and DevTools evaluates the statement and prints out 6, which is the right result. And then go to the 7th step, which called apply a fix. We have found a bug, and let's fix it with the help of DevTools. You can click resume script execution and on the line 31 we should replace addend1 plus addend2 with parseInt addend1 plus parseInt addend2. Okay, now we should save our changes. We should press Command plus S if you use Mac and Ctrl plus S if you use Windows or Linux. And we should deactivate breakpoints. Okay, we fixed error, and today we knew about debugging. Thank you for your attention. Goodbye.